Hey everyone, welcome back to another weekly edition of Hurricane Talk. As always, I'm Alex, and with me again this week is Heather.
Hi everyone. This weekend, the members of the Hurricane Junior Golf Tour traveled to the Country Club of Miami. The Country Club of Miami offers two beautifully manicured golf courses with lush fairways and newly regrassed greens. A Robert Trent Jones design. The club was founded in 1961 with Arnold Palmer as its first professional. Due to the club's excellent history, it is only fitting that we would have an international field and a trio of champions of non-American heritage.
Coming into this weekend's competition, the skies and weather conditions appeared to look prime for scoring. However, once the players finally arrived Saturday morning, there was a consensus among the players and spectators alike that something in the air was brewing. As the players embarked upon their opening rounds, everything seemed to be going fine. However, as the day went on, the wind gusts began to intensify and thus forced the players to find new ways in which to land their shots on the heavily undulated Bermuda greens. Due to the course layout and the intensifying weather conditions, players began to alter their shot selections. However, one idea began to reign supreme over the others. By taking note of the Olde English style of play and hitting low bump and runs, players were able to eliminate risky shots and play for par.
In the boys 16 and 19 division, many players looked poised to take home the trophy and their first victory on the Hurricane Junior Golf Tour. After day one, there was no clear indication of who would be taking home the hardware as four players were tied atop the leaderboard. Daniel Bruno of Hilton Head Island, South Carolina, Bobby Kimmerly of Western Florida, Jared Spooner of Pompano Beach, Florida, and Matthew Taylor of Naples, Florida. As leaders began to tee off on Sunday, it was beginning to look as though the race for the title would come down to just two. Both Bruno and Kimmerly began their round strong by scoring par or better on 8 of their first 11 holes. However, this would not continue as Bobby Kimmerly began to separate himself from Bruno by pairing 8 of the last 10 holes on the way to his first Hurricane Junior Golf Tour title. Kimmerly's round of 77 and 74 were good enough to secure him the title and give him a tournament low, 2-day total, 151. Aside from posting the tournament low this weekend, Kimmerly also led the field in all major golf statistics, including total birdies, total pars, and low average on the par 3s, par 4s, and par 5s. Following right behind Kimmerly this weekend was Daniel Bruno and Matthew Taylor, who finished their tournament with scores of 158 and 159 respectively. After the award ceremony, we were able to get a quick interview with our champion and see what he was thinking heading into the final round.
We're here with Bobby Kimmerly of Western Florida, the boys 16 and 19 champion. And Bobby, you began the day in a 4-way tie for the lead and going into the final round. Tell me what you were thinking stepping up to the first tee this morning during the final round.
Well, really, I was just trying to put myself in position to get off the tee, keep it in the fairway, because then I could hit greens in regulation, and if you hit greens, that's how you score.
Okay, and Bobby, last question. You got off to a hot start today on the front 9. What was your strategy on the back 9 today, eventually distancing yourself from the field?
Again, hitting greens, and then keeping the 3 putts down, so if you hit 2 putts, then usually you don't go over par, or like more than par.
Okay, Bobby Kimmerly of Western Florida, thank you very much.
On the boys 13 to 15 side of the action, the race for the trophy was down to just 2. Jordan Batchelor of St. John's, Florida, and Otto Mann of Claremont, Florida, both managed to shoot scores in the 70s on day 1 and held a substantial lead over the rest of the competition. As both players entered the final day of scoring, Batchelor held a small, 1-stroke lead over Mann and had the confidence that he would be able to hold on and secure his first victory of the year. Both players started off their round shaky as they bogeyed 2 out of the first 3 holes. However, as the round continued, it looked as though Mann would be able to subdue his opponent. Coming down the stretch, Mann held a 3-stroke lead over Batchelor. However, due to shots around the green, Batchelor was given an opportunity to make up some strokes and close the gap. The tournament came down to the final hole competition, where after watching Batchelor sink his birdie putt, all the pressure was placed on the small shoulders of Mann to make his par putt and take home the title. Mann came through and sunk his par putt to secure himself a back-to-back podium appearances and his first victory on the Hurricane Junior Golf Tour. Following right behind Mann and Batchelor this weekend was Justin Yoakum of Pembroke Pines, Florida, whose 2-day total of 166 was good enough to secure himself of his first podium appearance of the year.
Throughout the weekend, many players were able to post pars or better. However, due to the par 70 course layout, it was very unlikely that any player would be able to eagle a hole. As the tournament was coming to a close, it looked as though this would be a weekend where birdie reigned supreme. However, on the 36th hole of competition, Trevor Harrison of Pompano Beach, Florida, holed out his approach shot from 100 yards and captured the first eagle of his career. After all of the excitement was over, we had an opportunity to speak with our champion and see what part of his golf game was the strongest over this very windy weekend.
I'm here with boys 13 to 15 champion Otto Mand of Clermont, Florida. And Otto, the final round posed some different challenges than the first round did due to the heavy winds today. Tell us how you adjusted your game today to ultimately play in those kind of conditions.
Really, I didn't adjust my game. I felt solid the first day, so I thought I'd stick with it the second day. So pretty much what I did.
Okay, and Otto, you're the second round today. You and Jordan were fighting back and forth. You won by 1 stroke. Tell us how you manage your nerves coming down the stretch.
Well, I knew I had a 2-shot lead going down the last, so I thought if I just make my par, more likely not going to make an eagle. So pretty much that's all I thought.
Okay, very good. Otto Mand of Clermont, Florida. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Hey, thanks, Otto.
Rounding out the boys' competition this past weekend, we had 3 competitors, all who could have taken home the title. After the first round, the top 3 were separated by just 5 strokes, and so there was no clear indication of whom would be taking home their first title of the year. After beginning his final round with consecutive bogeys, Jake Ludwig of St. Augustine, Florida managed to keep his composure and defeat another regular on the Hurricane Junior Golf Tour, Thomas Burnett of Palm Beach, Florida. Jake's 44.4% of holes with par or better, so it helped him distance himself from the field and crown him with his first victory of the 2010 season. Rounding out the top 3 this weekend was Plantation, Florida's Matthew Galuzzo, who finished the tournament with a 2-day total 170, 6 shots back of our champion.
In this weekend's Spotlight matchup, we saw one of our most compelling finishes of the year. Alyssa Getty of Leamington, Ontario, and Alex Papel of Boca Raton, Florida, needed more than the traditional 36 holes of competition to close out their tournaments. After both players carded 40s on the back 9, they proceeded back to the first hole to begin their sudden death shootout. After both players hit their approach shots into the right greenside bunker, it was a race to see who would be able to get up and down first. After both players failed to convert their bunker shots, Getty was able to tap in her putt and take home her first HJGT title. Rounding out this weekend's competition was Lily Morrison of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and Morgan Gardner of Parkland, Florida, who finished in a tie for 3rd place, with a 2-day total of 173. Aside from the scores posted on the leaderboard, it is important to note that at 12 years old, not only did Getty win the girls' 15 to 19 division, but that she also managed to dominate all of this past weekend's competitors by converting on 5 birdie opportunities. After the tournament, we were able to catch up with our champion and see what part of her game helped her defeat this style of golf course.
We're here with girls 15 to 19 champion Alyssa Getty of Ontario. And Alyssa, tell us how those courses fit your game this weekend.
The greens were nice and I putted really good, and the course really set up for my game because it's set up for the shots that I normally hit.
Okay, and Alyssa, you and Alexandra were going back and forth all day, and you ultimately went into a playoff. Take us through what you were thinking stepping up to the 37th hole today.
Just hit a good drive and maybe just set it up to play and see what happens.
Okay, congratulations. Alyssa Getty of Ontario, our girls 15 to 19 champion.
After heading to both South Carolina and Georgia the next couple of weeks, the Hurricane Junior Golf Tour will be returning south to host the second round of the Johnson Wales University Tournament Series at Lake Jovita in Dade City, Florida. Lake Jovita's 220-acre south course was designed by Tom Lehman and golf course architect Kurt Sandness. The strategy behind this course was to take full advantage of the uniquely hilly terrain and create a golf course that's professional tour quality in every sense. The par 5 11th hole features a 94-foot drop from tee to green, which is the largest natural elevation change of any course in the state of Florida. The generous fairways of velvet-like greens and immaculate course conditions provide players of all skill levels with an enjoyable and challenging day of golf. The registration deadline for the JW Series competition at Lake Jovita's South Course is February 3rd at midnight. However, space is limited, so make sure to sign up as soon as possible.
Well, Alex, I think that's just about going to do it for this week's episode of Hurricane Talk. So we're going to turn it over to Mario, who is standing by at the Country Club of Miami.
From sunny Miami, Florida. We'll see you next weekend from Kiowa Island, South Carolina. Don't forget to check out that tournament schedule page where it has an upcoming event near you. Have a great week.